All right, you've probably seen on the news media throughout the country and politicians bragging about saving Social Security and expanding benefits and getting government employees, retired government employees, a whole bunch more money. And you probably want to know whether you qualify. And I got to tell you, you probably don't. And so we're going to talk about that today. Um, this is going to be my, I guess, my angry video. I've been hoping this didn't happen. I was waiting for President Biden to go maybe veto this, pocket veto, or whatever the case may be, but it looks like it has actually passed. There's about 3% of workers out there that are very, very, very happy. Some have reached out to me and they say, yeah, they know it's wrong. They know it's not fair, but they want the other money. They want the extra money. And I understand where people need the extra money out there. It's tough out there, but it's not fair to the other 97%. So we're going to go into that today. And I think you should not be happy as well. And let's see what we can do to fix this going forward. So I'm going to talk about what this whole thing is and why these 2.5, 2.7, I think it's going to be a little bit more, probably about 3 million government employees, retired and future retirees. So it's going to be a lot more. We're looking at about $190 billion. I think it's going to be a lot more because we're looking over, those extras going into the future. So it's going to cost a lot more. It's going to cost you. It's going to cost the other 97%. So not only do you not get the money because these government employees are going to get five, six, seven, $800 a month more for the rest of their lives. Plus, they're going to get a nice big fat check for 12 months. So if they were, calculated, they're going to be, $500, they're going to get $6,000 check right out of the gate. And guess what? You're not. So let's talk about that today. And if they're going to get it, I recommend that we all get it. Everybody gets it. But this is a political stunt through and through. 100% political stunt. This is not Democrat or Republican. Biden signed it. He shouldn't have signed it, but he did. It's a political stunt. I can see why he did it. His argument is, hey, I expanded Social Security. He was, trying to expand Social Security, protect Social Security, but he just couldn't get it done. And I figured that he figured this was a Hail Mary. So at least the headlines would show that he, did something, was expanded Social Security, which he did, but he gave it to people that are not entitled to that percentage. And there's going to be a lot of people. Okay, I'll talk about what we're talking, what this whole thing is. It's reported 100% incorrectly in the news media. I wish there were some investigative journalists out there that would pick up on this story. They're just 100% parodying their corporate media politicians' line. And I've watched news media throughout the country, and they're saying, yeah, it's good. They're finally getting their money. They're no longer reduced, no longer cut, whatever the case may be. Yeah, they're just 100% copying the corporate line. So if there are any investigative journalists out there, Anderson Cooper, you did an awesome job on Social Security overpayments, and Social Security went in there and they changed their policy on overpayments. So good job on that one. I need your help here. Any other investigative journalists, make sure you reach out to me and we'll go through this. And this is a good story. And it's completely fake support of Social Security. Okay. So, I'm going to pop this up here real quick. I'll pop it up here again after I talk about what this whole thing is about. But we need to take action on a few fronts to protect Social Security, to actually protect Social Security, not this fake protection of Social Security that just passed. But I'll pop that up here in a little bit as well. So don't worry about that one. Now, okay. And like I said, this is going to cost you, everybody out there, the 97% and even 100% of people, because that $190 billion has to come out of somewhere. And guess what? It's going to come out of future cuts. So right now, this chart, it was applicable for yesterday before President Biden signed that act into law. So as of right now, I guess the 2034 cuts are probably going to happen sooner, probably earlier in the year or maybe 2033. And the cuts are going to be more, probably 22, 23%, because essentially $190 billion was just added on there. So we're going to get cuts sooner and they're going to be deeper. If the next president does some of the things he's talking about, there's going to be even more cuts sooner. And if you disagree, make sure you check my description in YouTube. I've got all the details in there, the analysis. But if we do something, if we become become active, if we make sure politicians actually fix Social Security instead of doing all this BS theater, which it is, then we'll get zero cuts and Social Security will be around here for the future and for our kids and grandkids and all the rest of it. So, but we have to stop this fake support of Social Security, and this is also going to cost you because you think customer service at Social Security is bad now. Just wait. I ran the third busiest Social Security office in the country. I know how terrible customer service is. This is a design by politicians that want to destroy Social Security, that want to privatize Social Security. If the Social Security office in your area was so awesome and the people were really nice and you always got the right information and when you called them, they picked up the phone, and when you filed for disability retirement, it was you got a decision immediately. Would you would and the politicians would say, "Hey, let's go ahead and privatize. Let's do this, that," and you're like, "Heck no! These guys are awesome. They're doing an awesome job." So politicians that want to destroy Social Security don't want that. So what they do is they make Social Security as terrible as humanly possible, which they're doing a really, really good job at. They're very successful there, and it's going to get even worse going forward. Okay, so let's get into the details here, and there are some indisputable facts that supporters of this just can't deny. Okay, all right, let's go through them. A lot of people don't realize this, how your benefits are calculated for Social Security. Your benefits are calculated for Social Security based on your earnings. In Social Security's case, your high 35 years of earnings. They index that for an inflation and everything. So they take the high 35 years and do this calculations, 90%, 32%, 15% called bin points and everything. But super long story short, make this easy. The indisputable facts is lower income workers receive a higher percentage uh, than high income workers. Okay, so this is basically like the chart here. Okay, so if you make about $10,000 a month on average throughout your life, your calculation is 35%. You get 35% of what you paid into Social Security. If your earnings throughout your life average monthly, or let's say $1,000 per month, then you get 90%. And this has been the fact since day one, since 1935. Back in before World War II, it was if it was under $200, you got like 40%, and over $200 a month, you got 20%. So it's always been like this. It's always been a progressive system where people that make less money throughout their life always get a higher percentage. It's been like that since day one. A lot of people don't realize this. The people that support this Social Security Fairness Act don't understand this, but this is the reality. It depends on how much you earn throughout your life and how many percentage. Okay, and number two, indisputable facts is how they determine whether you are low income or high income. Social Security determines that whether you are going to receive 90% or whether you're going to receive 50% or whether you're going to receive 35%. They do that based on your earnings throughout your life. They look at your earnings throughout your life and they take that AMI, the average index monthly earnings, and that's how they determine, okay, you're going to get 50%, you're going to get 56%, you're going to get 72%, you're going to get 31%, whatever the case may be. That's how they determine that. Okay, so those are two indisputable facts. Nobody can deny that. I've done the calculations millions of times when I worked at Social Security. The computer system does them obviously now, but those are two indisputable facts nobody can deny. And here's the issue. Those 3% of government workers have essentially been hiding, not necessarily them, but their states, their governments, the local governments or state government. They have essentially been hiding their earnings since day one, and to pretend like they're low income workers. So you've got, let's say here, someone that made average of 39.55. That's the average today in the United States, and the average check you get based on that is about 1975. Okay, so the average worker in the United States makes about 39.55 throughout their life. Okay, so if you have a teacher In the 97% of teachers out there and firefighters and police that make that much money, they get 50% of how much they paid into Social Security. Okay. But if you hide your earnings, then Social Security can't calculate that in there. So what you paid into Social Security, you get a higher percentage. So a 3% of these teachers, firefighters, and police, they get they don't get 50% like the other 97% of teachers, firefighters, and police. They might get 51% or 52% or 56% or 60% or 70%. So there is no denying that they paid into Social Security. Yes. There is no denying that they're entitled to benefits that they paid into. Yes. Nobody's denying that. The issue is the percentage. Do you deserve more than a police officer, teacher, government employee, state attorney, a mayor, whatever the janitor, the lunch lady? Do you deserve more? Those 3%, do they deserve more than equal people, the other 97% as a percentage? Do they deserve a higher percentage than everybody else? Right. So that is what this previous law that was enacted in the 1980s was trying to prevent. It's a windfall, the windfall elimination provision. And what is it, a perfect law? Of course not. It was designed 40 years ago with the computer systems and didn't have the information. Obviously, it was a terrible law for the it was good for the most parts. The intent was very good. The intent was right on, but the execution of it sometimes it didn't work out well. But the majority of the time it did. And rather than fix that law and make it easy, which is super super easy to fix, investigative journalists reach out to me and I'll tell you how to fix a system. It's everybody in Social Security knows how to fix a system. It's a simple fix. But these people decided rather than fix the system and make sure they got fair compared to every other cop, teacher, and firefighter and mayor throughout the country, they decided they wanted more benefits, more percentage, a higher percentage than everybody else. And unfortunately, politicians, they decided there's a bunch of politicians. Again, this is on both sides. This passed bipartisan support. So there's a bunch of politicians that use this. Hey, I support Social Security. I'm expanding benefits. Well, no, you're actually doing the opposite. You're giving people essentially a larger percentage than everybody else that are equal to them. Is it, in normal circumstances, if you hide your earnings to get extra benefits, if you try that with the IRS, yeah, you're going to have issues. If you try that at welfare, go down there and try to get food stamps or something like that, and hide your earnings or hide your resources, you're going to have issues with that. But now they're 100% allowed to hide their earnings so they can move up the scale and get a larger percentage. And all of those people out there, the firefighters and cops and teachers and whoever, the janitors and the lunch ladies that work in the 97%, guess what? You don't get it. You don't get those extra percentage. I'm sure you would like to get, instead of getting 45% or 55%, I'm sure you would like to get another 5% or 10%. That would put an extra $100 to $200 in your pocket. So if you got the same deal as they are getting, you would get more every single month. But guess what? Guess you just don't have very good lobbyists. But you got me. So I'm going to go to the grave, I guess, fighting for this to make sure this is fixed. Again, the old law, the windfall elimination provision, the government pension offset, was it the perfect law? Of course not. But they're making the perfect, the enemy of the good. They should have gotten rid of that law, but they should have changed it to something else. But now they just completely got rid of it, and now they're getting all this extra money, and the rest of us can just, I guess, as someone told me yesterday, it passed. Ed, now you can go pound sand. So yes, so there's a lot of people out there. They're very, very happy, and a lot of them realize, yes, it's not fair, but I'll take the money. Again, the arguments, you'll see them in the comments. Are going to be a lot of people very, very unhappy and said, Ed, you're an idiot, yada, yada, yada. We earned that money. Yes, nobody is denying that you earned. If you and your compatriots and the other 97% of the country, teachers, firefighters, police officers, or whatever, if you are equal and you both paid 39.50, you earn $3,955 throughout your life, you should all receive 50% of what you paid into Social Security. Nobody is denying that. Nobody is denying that. Don't change the subject. Nobody is denying that. What we are saying is that you should receive 50% and not 60% or 70% and 80%. That's what we're arguing. That's the only thing. So in the news media, it's talking about, oh, that's cutting benefits and reducing the benefits for these employees. No, it's not. It's just not giving you it just wasn't giving you the extra 10 or 20% that nobody else in the country gets that earn the same amount. It's not reducing your benefits. So that's another argument. And it's not about discriminated against you because you're public servants. That's another thing. Oh, discriminated against teachers and firefighters. Now it's the complete opposite. Now you're discriminating that other people, other firefighters and teachers and police are not receiving that extra 5, 10, 15, 20% that you are receiving. So you're discriminated against your compatriots by saying you're better than them and they don't deserve that extra percentage. So yeah, good luck with that argument. As you can see, I'm not happy about this. This is an injustice, and I understand the previous system was not the best, but you should have fought to fix it rather than just throw the whole thing out and make everything completely unfair. And again, the politicians, it was completely, they used you as pawns as well. There are some people that of this 3% that knew there, and they knew that this was incorrect. But some people, that bought the company line and never really understood that there's, we're talking about a percentage, not the fact that you didn't, earn it or anything like that. Um, so this is I'm going to pop up what we need to do to get this thing fixed, and either fix it or give all the other police, firefighters, teachers, janitors, lunch ladies an extra 5, 10, 20%, which will put another 100, 200, $300 in their pocket. So if the other 97% of police and teachers, firefighters, and everyone wants a higher percentage like these 3%, then here's what you do. You contact your senator, representative. Here's the switchboard for the U.S. Capitol. Here's the switchboard for the White House. Go on to their your local politicians, the 2 senators, the House representative. You go on to their websites and you say, this is an injustice. This is completely unfair. This is, we see right through you. Contact your local news, visit your office of your senator, go on social media, share this channel, subscribe. I'm going to keep you all up to date on this. We're going to make sure this gets fixed. And 4 things you want to please address. Number 1 is, hey, if these 3% get an extra $586 more percentage than I do, I want 586, or you treat everybody fairly. All right. If I earn the same amount as they do, then they get 50% and I get 50%. They don't get 70%. Okay. And then to do a true fix of Social Security, I would recommend, and everybody that watches my channel here on a regular basis recommends, smash the cap. And this is even worse than the 3%. This is about 2% of people in America that make over $176,000 per year that don't want to pay FICA like the rest of us. Basically, what it is in Social Security, you pay FICA Social Security up to $176,100. Anything after that, you don't pay FICA Social Security anymore. You pay Medicare, but you don't pay Social Security FICA anymore. And that's one of the issues. There's about 2% of people, the millionaires, billionaires that don't want to pay into Social Security. So they are fighting this tooth and nail. If they did pay into Social Security like the rest of us, we pay Social Security 365 days of the year and all our income. But if you're, one of these rich, you probably January 1st, probably in the first, few seconds, you pay Social Security FICA tax for the first few seconds, and the rest of the year you don't pay it anymore. And if they paid into FICA like the rest of us, then the cuts and everything would not happen, and we might even get an increase in benefits, better COLA or something. So smash the FICA cap. So when you reach out to your senators and representatives and news, and if you've got anybody on the news, local channel or whatever that wants to interview me, please give them my information, send them my YouTube channel. So smash the cap, make FICA taxes fair for everybody. We've been paying FICA taxes on all our income for decades. Let's share let's share the pain and have everybody pay the same FICA. And then ask your politician, what are they doing to improve customer service? Because those are current cuts. If you're a regular viewer to my channel, you know that I'm about to go live here. Well, I am live now, but I'm about to go to the live Q&A part. So if you have any questions about all things Social Security, make sure you type them in the chat there, and I will help you out and make sure you're getting all the benefits you're eligible for. Um, because right now there are cuts because people are not able to get into Social Security, they're getting wrong information, they're getting delayed, and they're losing money. So these are cuts that are happening right now, and that is a conscious decision by politicians to make you hate Social Security, not get the money you're entitled to. So ask your politician, what are you doing to improve customer service at your local office? All politics are local. So, okay, hey, Senator, there's a Social Security office right down the street. 3-hour wait. I have to wait 8 months to get my disability claim. They lost this, they did this. What do you do to improve customer service, right? So those are trying to prevent current cuts. So I can go back into retirement and you'll never see me again once everything is cool and copacetic. I'm an old Marine Corps sergeant, so I'll find some other crazy mission. But anyway, number 4 is, what are you doing to stop the cuts of your Social Security check in the future in 2031, 2032, 2034, whatever it turns out to be once the Social Security trustees does their analysis. And you can look in the description in YouTube of the analysis there. What are you doing, my representative, to actually solve Social Security? And if they give you, let me know what they tell you. If they give you some BS about fraud, waste, and abuse and stuff like that, yes, there's fraud, waste, and abuse, but that's just a drop in the bucket. We're talking, we need a lot of money to shore up Social Security going forward. And it's don't the whole thing was given to this country, or the trust fund was stolen. Regular viewers to my channel know that's all BS. That misdirection. Politicians are very, very good at misdirection. Hey, look over here, and while they pick your pockets, right? So those are the 4 things. Please reach out and then come back in the comments and say, hey, Ed, I reached out to all 3 of my representatives, my 2 senators, and my congressperson, House representative, and I reached out to all of them and waiting for a word back, and tell us, tell everybody, what you heard. So let's. All right. As I slowly take my moment of zen here and try to calm down a little bit. Yeah, this is. I am. Yeah, we want. I'm not. I'm not political. I am attacking. I am, as we used to say in the Marine Corps, calling on the carpet both sides. This is a bipartisan thing, and anytime any politician, I don't care where they are, in the political spectrum, I'm gonna call them out, and so I'm gonna be doing that over the next many weeks. So all right, and I need y'all's help. Okay, sorry. Okay, all right. I'm gonna come back down. Okay, what a liar this guy is. Okay, there we go. There's one of the 3%. Let's see here. So does my wife get half spousal benefits? It says whichever is higher, hers on her own or mine. So if she waits till her full retirement age, then she gets 50%. Yes. If she files early, then it's reduced. Pretty much anytime you take money from Social Security early, it's reduced. Retirement benefits, spouse benefits, survivor benefits, disability, no. Disability is never reduced if you take it early. So but she has to file for benefits on her own record first. She files for benefits on her own record. And then if your benefit amount is twice hers, over twice hers, then she can file for benefits on your record. All right, let's see what else here. And we got tons of questions here. Anderson Cooper, a high-level investigative journalist, give us a break. Well, I mean, he did a great job. You might, yeah, he does some fun stuff on New Year's, but you have to admit, he did a phenomenal job on the overpayment. Social Security investigative reporting on the overpayment. It's probably written by someone else, but anyway, yes. Let's see here. Ed, your thoughts of spouses that get part of their husband's Social Security without putting into Social Security at all? I just did a video about Senator Mark Wayne Mullen from Oklahoma, that, for all intents and purposes says if you don't pay into it, Social Security, you don't get it. And The only people that don't pay into Social Security that get it are children and spouses. And spouses have been, part of the system forever, for not ever, but started, for decades. So yes, I've got no problem with spouses that stayed home to take care of the kids, the family, and all that stuff. And because you figure you see those analyses every now and then, and they say, some Harvard economist says, well, if you actually paid someone to do what someone that stayed home and took care of the kids and took care of the house, if you actually paid someone to do that, it would cost like $100,000. So I would say they earned their spousal benefits. So there's that. Let's see. Mine is $2,000 per month, and wife will get 709 per month. We were told she will get half of mine, spousal benefits, whichever is higher. Is that true? So if hers is 709 a month, then she will not get benefits while you're still out there alive and kicking, because her benefit has to be. Oh wait, okay, I'm sorry. Yes, because her benefit is less than half. Okay, never mind. So your benefit is 2,000, so it's $1,000. So she'll get the 709, and depending on how old she is when she starts her benefits, then she can conceivably get up to half. So half of yours is 1,000. She gets 709. So, but there's a weird calculation that happens there. So she might get a little bit extra, but it definitely looks like she's entitled to some more money. So I would call Social Security, wait on the phone for 3 hours, or you can file online. But if you want to talk to somebody, you just call Social Security, wait the 3 hours, and while you're waiting the 3 hours, jump on the website and go to your senators and the websites and say, hey, why am I have to wait on the phone for 3 hours? And then they hang up on you. Unfortunately, yeah, the customer service is going to get far, far, far worse, because all the employees and everybody are going to have to redo 3 million plus records. And so you got 3 million people that are going to be getting all this back pay and this extra money. And so, yeah, it's going to be very, very bad over the next year or two. So, started my survivor widow benefits at 64, got a letter 1 year later saying they made a mistake and owed me an extra $50, but want backup and pay me the underpayment. But won't probably won't. They won't. Okay. So they said they're going to pay you some back pay. Usually, when a letter goes out like that, it means the action has already been done. What happens internally is they do the calculation or whatever the case may be, and they push the button, and that sends the money essentially. And then once it sends the money, then the letter goes out pretty much at the same time. So yeah, something must have fell through the cracks there one way or the other. Um, I would reach out to them and say, "Hey, what's going on?" And guess what? If you don't get a response, then you reach out to your politician and say, "Hey, what's going on? And by the way, what are you doing to this, that, and the other?" Okay. Let's see. I like how Biden comes out like he did something great. It's laughable. Yeah, I mean, he's always been a supporter of Social Security, but yeah, for political reasons. But I think for political reasons, it kind of negates the whole thing when this is bipartisan support. So bipartisan in the House and bipartisan Senate. So the fact that if he because I think the tagline was, "Hey, I expanded Social Security and we're protecting Social Security," which he actually isn't. He's diminishing Social Security, but everybody doesn't understand the issues, so it sounds like, and the news doesn't report it accurately either. So yeah. Um, this dude is loaded. He's the 1%. Here at my $10 green screen. Let's see here. Yes, please hit the like button. Yes, a thumbs up. This way it gets out to more people. All right, let's see. Discrimination against the 3% is a pure misunderstanding, but discrimination against the 97% is a proven fact. Yeah. Um, yeah, I think that the 3%, they were just giving, they were what's the famous line, Denzel Washington, they were taken, they were hoodwinked, they were bamboozled. They were never given the information. If they were understood that, yes, it's not about it's not the fact that you weren't entitled to that money or eligible for that money. Yes, but the percentage is the issue. You shouldn't receive a higher percentage than other people in the same profession that make the same type of earnings. And if they were just told that, because I've told thousands of people that because my office was in a state that was one of these 3%. And so people used to come in, oh, how come you're taking my benefits? No. And I would explain to them and they would say, oh, I'd never known that. People didn't tell me for 10 or 20 or 30 years that it was this other thing. And now I understand. Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense. So I've explained this a few thousand times. The way I understand it, pension was explained as an added retirement benefit similar to a 401k. I had to cash out my PERS and take a penalty with the IRS, but that's how it was explained to me. Yeah, the pension has zero relevance to the whole thing. The reason the pension was used to reduce that is because that's the only thing they had at that time to hang their hat on. But now there's a better solution, and that's the solution that should have been fought for, but it wasn't. So now they're just going to get a whole bunch of extra percentage that everybody else doesn't get. So, what happens to our Social Security benefits with AI going forward? When AI systems and the machines they control remove millions of employees from the workforce, how do we make up for all the FICA? Yeah, I mean that's already happening right now. The money that we used to pay into FICA, us as workers, has been reduced because since the 1980s, our wages have been flat, wage stagnation. So, even though productivity has been going up like this, our wages, been going like this. And where has all that extra money been going to? Well, people outside that don't pay into FICA. And so money that we would normally pay into FICA, which would shore up the system, is not being paid in there. We'd be more than happy. The 98% of us would be more than happy to pay more FICA. That means we're making more money. Well, maybe not all of them, but we'd be paying more FICA, and then Social Security would be around here. It wouldn't be no cuts and stuff like that. But the problem is that money isn't coming to us, even though it's a result of our extra productivity. It's going to out people that are not paying into Social Security. So yeah. Dependent of a retired military, have TRICARE, both took Social Security at 62. I turned 65 this month. Our divorce will be final this year. I don't meet TRICARE after divorce. Should I take Medicare Advantage to prepare? Yes. If you have TRICARE, retired military, TRICARE for life, you have to sign up for Medicare Part A and Part B, even if you have TRICARE. But in your particular case, if you lose TRICARE, you definitely need to sign up for Medicare A and B. Medicare Advantage, please start investigating because you definitely need something. Medicare Part A and Part B are awesome. They could be improved, obviously, but there's a lot of gaps in there. 6 gaps in there. So you need to cover those gaps. And I always recommend a Medicare supplement plan first. Please check out a Medicare supplement plan, either a Plan N or a Plan G. And then if that's not for you, then start checking out a Medicare Advantage plan. And you can reach out to a chapter because I help people with, Social Security, retirement, survivor benefits, spouse benefits, disability, Medicare Part A and Part B, and they help out with Medicare supplements, Part D, and Medicare Advantage. So reach out to them. Their help is completely free. Let's see here. Politicians wants to hear people saying, "No wonder they're eliminating agencies. What a cunning idea!" Yeah, it's this is a 40-year plan. I've got the playbook in my YouTube description, the actual playbook that they're going by, and the playbook is regular viewers to my channel. Regular viewers to my channel are the most informed people in the country about Social Security. They know what's going on. So please subscribe and like and all that kind of stuff. And I'm going to keep you all heads up and, going forward. So the plan is a 7-point plan to instill fear, that the money was stolen and all this kind of stuff. They ignore the actual solutions. They say, well, they ignore the actual solutions. They just come up with fake solutions. Oh, well, we tried nothing and we're all out of ideas, right? And then they delay and delay and delay until there's a crisis, and the crisis is upon us now. And then they appoint people in particular positions, like perhaps the new commissioner of Social Security, which is going to take effect here in a couple of weeks, who happens to be a Wall Street guy, the first time in a while that a Wall Street guy has been there. So interesting. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. And then you propose legislation to start cutting. And that's exactly what's going to happen here in a few weeks. There's a senator that's going to propose a privatization scheme where he's going to give $1.5 trillion of your Social Security money to Wall Street to see what they can do. And there is the new the House rules that just passed. I'm going to talk about that in a few days about the House rules and the sneaky little thing that they're doing there. And then the last piece of the puzzle is they need a president that will sign off on whatever they do. And um, the President-elect Trump said he's not going to raise the retirement age and he's not going to cut benefits, but he never said anything about not privatizing, not saving Social Security by privatizing. So I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. I give everybody the benefit of the doubt until they do something opposite, which pretty much all politicians have done opposite recently. So, um, can that signature be reversed? Unfortunately, no. Yeah, it's pretty much done. The only thing we can do is hope for the next president to go in there and maybe just throw it out or something. But I don't know. It's going to be a tough fight. But I say we're up for it. Once more into the breach. This is disingenuous coming from someone in your position. Yes, higher my position. Yes, higher paid employees get a smaller percentage overall, but reducing by WEP to 40% of the first bin point is unfair. Um, well, if again, the calculations are not always perfect, but if your income throughout your life, everybody else that made the same type of income gets 40%, why should you get 45% or 50% or 60%? Right. So, all right, let's see here. How about the disability people? Do we get any money like everyone else? If you're under that same, if you're one of those 3% government employees, then it's the windfall. It's the calculations. You'll get the extra percent as everybody else. The 97%, unfortunately, on disability won't. Is let's see here. I'm just jumping in. Are retired railroad workers of Amtrak included in the new law? No, no. Yeah, the railroad is an interesting story. They have like their own railroad board and own jurisdiction. With anybody that came in a railroad came in to file for retirement or something, we always had to call the railroad board and find out who had jurisdiction. So, but no, they're not included in there because they paid into Social Security, played into railroad, which is kind of yeah, it existed before Social Security. So kind of historical link there between Anderson Cooper, part of the Vanderbilt family, and the railroads. So maybe there's a kind of unique connection there. Gloria Vanderbilt is his mother. I started receiving my widow's benefits at 65. A year later, I got a letter saying they made a mistake. Oh, okay, I've already answered that one. Someone to fix the bullshit we have determined COLA. $40 after paying the increase in Medicare is a travesty. It's a lie. It doesn't come close to touching the real inflation. Yeah, I definitely think the COLA should be adjusted. It's based on the CPIW, the Consumer Price Index for workers, usually younger workers. What it should be based on, I would argue, is CPIE, which is a consumer price index for elderly people because elderly people have more, healthcare costs. If that was the case, then the COLA would go up a little bit. So I definitely think, yeah, maybe try ProPublica. Yeah, if I've been reaching out to people and yeah, a lot of the corporate media says, "Oh, that's too difficult to explain," and there's a lot of so expansion of whatever. So yeah, people need their Social Security by age 60. 65 is getting late in life. 67 is even more. Yeah, and part of the Social Security the Fairness Act, the Unfairness Act, that they passed in the House, no, in the Senate. When it passed through the Senate, there was an attempt to raise the retirement age. So this is how this is going to happen is kind of that backroom type of deal where you wake up one morning and out of the blue the retirement age is 95 or your benefits are cut by whatever or no more spouse benefits and so I'm going to be in that you know watching in the window of those back rooms. And if anything like that, any shenanigans like that happen, then like this, I'm going to bring it to y'all's attention. So make sure you subscribe and like, and you can even support the channel by becoming a member. If wives don't work, they take care of kids, so should get half of hubby. Yep, I agree 100% as well. Yes. Let's see. How about someone that paid in the Social Security for 35 years, then worked for the state and draw a pension? Will draw on the Fairness Act. Yes, those are the people that it's directed to. Yes, they did pay into Social Security. We understand that. Yes, everybody understands that. It's all about the percentage. Should you receive more of a percentage than everybody else equal to you? I am 62, so that makes no sense if I stay on disability. Yeah, if you're on disability, there's no use in switching. If you're on SSDI, Social Security Disability Insurance, if you're on SSI, the welfare-based program, it's a whole different issue. But if you're on SSDI, and people ask all the time, okay, I'm on SSDI, but I'm coming up to 62, should I retire? No, because if you get rid of your disability and get off disability and start receiving retirement benefits, your benefits are going to be reduced by 30%. And so you might even lose Medicare. So if you're on disability and you're still disabled, just stay on disability because that's the higher benefit amount. But when you turn 60 and 62, when you turn 60, if you're on disability, make sure you check to see if you're entitled to any survivor benefits. You can get survivor benefits and disability benefits starting at 60. Once you turn 62, you can get disability benefits and spouse benefits, independently entitled divorce spouse benefits, current spouse benefits. And then when you turn 65, see if you want to switch over to a Medicare supplement plan. So you don't have all those prior authorizations and networks and everything, because at 65, they can't deny you like they did probably previously in most places. Yeah. Um, in most states, they deny you. Yeah, someone put that Rand Paul tried to switch the retirement age to 70. Yes. Let's see. If in the year you reach your full retirement age, we reduce your benefits $1 for every $3 you earn over the annual limit in 2021 until the month you reach for all. Yep, that's right. So yeah, the for this year it's 23,400. If you're filing for early retirement, the year you reach your full retirement age, it's $62,160 for the months before you hit your full retirement age. Once you hit your full retirement age, then you can go back to making $1 billion a month. So let's see here. Money sitting in a pension fund, which eventually they get. They are convinced they were in guideline of poor because they couldn't spend their pension. Truly unfair. Real poor people don't have pension waiting. Yes. I just talked to someone and they said, "Oh my gosh, I had this and I'm getting offset and I'm only making $4,000 a month from my pension and I'm so happy that I'm getting the extra money." And it's like, what that money was actually supposed to go to, you know. But yeah. Let's see. Bipartisan just means that the rhinos joined in, or uh, yeah. You've got one party that says they support Social Security, but where's the result? Because I blame Biden, I blame Trump because he was president before. I blame Obama, I blame the Bushes, I blame Clinton, and every politician for the last 20 or 30 years because they knew the cuts were coming. They knew the trust fund was going to run out because we're using the trust fund. Last year, $70 billion was taken out of the trust fund and put in your checks. So the whole thing about the trust fund being stolen and all that kind of stuff, it's funny because now the politicians are saying, "Hey, we need to privatize," and the first thing we're going to do when we privatize your Social Security is give a 1.5 trillion dollars to Wall Street to see what they can do to play around with. And you're like, "Wait a second, you just told us yesterday that it's gone. It was given to Ukraine or illegals or it's stolen or it's monopoly money. Wait a second, yesterday it was fake and now it's real money that you want to give to your buddies on Wall Street. Okay, where's the disconnect there?" And they're playing us for chumps. I was just awarded Social Security disability. When will my 24-month waiting start? As yeah, if you were just awarded, it depends what your month of entitlement to your disability onset date is. Your AOD, not the, or the actual disability onset date. So you can ask them because sometimes there's a 5-month waiting period, and you might have some retroactivity or whatever the case may be. So for proper planning, I always recommend reach out to Social Security and say, "Hey, when can I expect that 24-month to end so I know when my Medicare starts?" So if you have any other health insurance or something like that, and if you want to switch to Medicare, you can be prepared. But what will happen when you're on SSDI is once you're on that SSDI for 24 months, you will get Medicare automatically. They will send you the card in the mail. So make sure you update your address and everything, keep it up to date because you don't want your card to go some other place and don't have health insurance. There's a lot of people out there that don't realize they have Medicare. I've talked to so many people and they've come in here live Q&A and, oh yeah, I've had disability for 3 years and I've got no health insurance. I'm like, actually you do. You've got Medicare. Oh no, they never got the card. So they were, yeah, it's not good. Um, $185 Part B, that's a lot of money on fixed income. Yes, yes. So there is a solution of that, a couple of solutions. One is called the Medicare Savings Program. So you reach out to your state welfare office, Medicaid office, and you file for Medicaid. And if they approve you, and if they approve you at the right level, then they will pay for your Part B. It's called the Medicare Savings Program. And then because you can have Medicare and Medicaid at the same time, and then you can have Medicaid pay for your Part B, and then you also have the extra help with prescription drugs. And then if you have Medicare and Medicaid, that's the one time I really recommend Medicare Advantage plans because you can't get a Medicare supplement if you have Medicaid. You get a Medicare Advantage plan. Those are the ones with the cards, the grocery cards. You see advertised. They're advertising are really scammy, but they do exist. But it really depends on your particular area. So you can reach out to a chapter, and they can find out if there's a good Medicare Advantage plan in your neck of the woods. And the other way. So the one way to get your $185 paid is Medicaid. But if you don't qualify for Medicaid because you're not your income is a little bit too high or you've got other type of resources, then the other way is another Medicare Advantage is it's called a Part B give back. And a Part B give back, you sign up for the Medicare Advantage plan and they pay for part of your Part B, $50, $100, all of it. It really depends on what's available in your area. Watch out for those though, because these insurance companies aren't dumb. They're not going to just pay for your Part B, give you $100, $185 a month just for nothing. They're going to take it out of other places. So, but if you're relatively healthy, it shouldn't be an issue because the other places they take it out of, they might charge you more for a hospital or an MRI or whatever the case may be. But if you need the extra money and you're healthy, then definitely check it out. And this is also the open enrollment period. People think, oh well, the enrollment period is over. That ended December 7th. No, there is another time you can. Now is the time. January, February, March of every year. It's called the open enrollment period, where you can switch your plan. You can do it one time. If you're on Medicaid, it's different. If you're on extra help, but yeah, you can reach out to your Medicare person or whoever, or reach out to chapter, and they can help you out and find out if you can switch your plans. There was about 1.8 million people that had their Medicare Advantage plans canceled for 2025, and I know there's a lot of people out there that didn't get the word and they're about to be shocked when they go to their doctor and they hand them the Medicare Advantage card they've had for years, and the doctor says, yeah, this one has been canceled effective December 31st. You owe us $1,000. Oh no, my gosh. So reach out to your company that you got it with, reach out to your Medicare insurance agent, reach out to chapter, and they can check to see if you're still cool and copacetic. um, yes, teachers qualify. How about other union members, counselors, registrars? Yeah, it really depends if you were part of. You'd have to call your HR to determine whether you were part of a non-covered pension. You are receiving a non-covered pension or not. How are you supposed to budget if privatization? Yeah, that's yeah, good question. That's this idea. People have asked me all the time and says, okay, hey, when should I retire? Should I do it 62, 65? And I always, say, hey, there's a bunch of questions. Are you healthy? Do you need the money? Are you working? But recently I've added the question of what do you think is going to happen politically in the future? I don't know. You don't know. Nobody knows whether it's going to be fixed or not. I'm the eternal optimist. I hope we can get it fixed. But yeah, it depends on us. So did I throw up the numbers yeah. So reach out and say, hey, what are you actually doing? And so yeah, when you reach out to your politicians and they say, well, I'm doing this, add it to the comments, and then I'll start adding those together, and then we'll come up with a response that says, okay, you said you're going to do this, but that doesn't help at all. Because one of the places you can go to is, again, in my YouTube description. It has the Social Security Actuaries Report. So every time a politician has some idea of how to save Social Security, the actuary, the numbers guy, pulls out his big calculator, his or her big calculator, and he runs the numbers. They run the numbers. And it says, okay, yeah, your plan will save, Social Security, help it by 2%, by 3%, or -6%. So it's all in, yeah, it's all in the details. And the one that I recommend, raising the FICA cap, that increases it by, that helps 70, that solves 73% of the problem. So we just need to tweak it a few other places. And that's another thing politicians do, is they, well, raising taxes. No, it's not raising taxes. It's raising taxes on those people that have not been paying it. It's making taxation fair. We pay it on 100%. They should pay it on 100%. But they say, oh, raising taxes on everybody doesn't help. And it's like, well, it doesn't solve 100% of the problem. Ed doesn't get his hair back and all that stuff. Well, if it doesn't get Ed's hair back, then I guess we shouldn't do it, right? So the perfect being the enemy of the good. How far back will they get the Social Security? 1 year. So if they were, the recalculations, and they get that extra percentage, and that extra percentage is $500, then they get a nice little check for $6,000, and it's going to come out of our future. Yeah. He does not bring up the fact that these 3% of people lost those benefits for 30 years. Again, what do you mean by lost? Didn't get the extra percentage that everybody else didn't get? Okay. Survivors only get 75% after death of family members. That's a lot of money, average $500 a month. They never see why government. Yeah, no, survivors get up to 100%. They get set up if they wait, if they start collecting their survivor benefits at 60, they get 71.5%. If they wait until their full retirement, they get 100%. So, a weird calculation, very precise, doctor. Yes. My last name is Weird. After Weir. If they reduce your because of your pension, you will benefit from the new law, and reduce benefits, you will benefit. Okay. So again, it's not necessarily, it's yeah. So let's see. I agree. 60 shouldn't be without a reduction penalty. Yeah. And that's another argument that people say. What I would argue that, if you retire, I think Medicare should start immediately. You get a lot of people that retire at 60 and get survivor benefits, or retire at 62 to get, spouse benefits or retirement benefits. So when you actually start taking retirement benefits from Social Security, I think, Medicare should also start at that time. Yeah, but right now you have to wait till 65, and your full retirement age, starting this year, is 67. So. Um, don't people on disability receive a lot less when they retire? No, no. If you're on disability, if you start your disability at 55, you get it until you hit your full retirement age. And once you hit your full retirement age, it switches to regular retirement benefits. It's the same check and same direct deposit and all that stuff. People don't even notice the switch. It's just a bureaucratic thing. They stop taking the money out of the Social Security Disability Trust Fund, and they start taking it out of the Social Security Trust Fund. So, but it's the same benefit amount. Let's see here. I'm getting Social Security. My wife is getting spousal benefits. If I die, will she get my Social Security benefits afterwards, and then can still receive her spouse benefits also? Yeah, it's a good question that, unfortunately, I've had to break the news to a lot of people at the time the spouse actually passed away, and they'd come in, and when I was taking claims at Social Security, and I would have to break the news to them. So if you have a spouse that was receiving $2,000 a month, and the other spouse, the surviving spouse, was making 1,000, so you got $3,000 coming into the house. And if the higher earning spouse passes away, then yes, the lower earning spouse gets $2,000, but it's minus their own if they're at their full retirement age. So if it's after their full retirement age, basically one day the household is getting $3,000, and the next day they're getting $2,000. So the surviving spouse is getting $1,000 from their own record, plus $1,000 from the surviving spouse. So yeah, I've had to break the news to a lot of people that thought they both, oh, I thought I would get his check. Yes, minus your own. Yeah, that was always a very difficult conversation. Thank goodness for you sharing your info with us, sir. I feel the government takes advantage of the fact that this is also hard for many to understand. Yes, that is a fact. Politicians definitely, that's exactly what they did here. It's like, yeah, the people that are receiving that know about this whole thing that have worked in these, the government employees, they don't even understand it. Because if you read the comments down below, they're going to say, "Hey, this guy's an idiot. This guy doesn't, I earned this benefit." Nobody's denying that you earned what, but we're just saying that you shouldn't get an extra percentage so yeah. Let's see. If I withdraw my government pension in a lump sum when leaving, how will that affect me? Okay. Yeah, if it depends what type of government pension you're talking about. If it's a government that did not pay into Social Security, then I guess if now it won't affect you. So, do you still have to have 40 credits? Some government workers don't. Yeah, yes, you definitely still have to have 40 credits. So if they don't have 40 credits, then just like everybody else, they don't get anything. So you have to have 40 credits, 10 years. What is the policy associated with entitled divorced spouse and also the limp policy? I have my survivor call on January 7th at 11:30. Okay, probably the WIB rim, the WIB limb, rib limb. Um, Everybody on the internet calls it the WIB limitation, but Social Security calls it the rib limb. But anyway, um, entitled divorce spouse. So yeah, so you might be thinking about the independently entitled divorce spouse, which is not appropriate here because it's a surviving case. So this is just regular survivor benefits. So as long as you were married to that person for 10 years or you were married to them when you're passed, then you'll get your benefits, not an issue there. In terms of the limitation policy, if the person passed away before the age of 62, what they will do is, or excuse me, if they started receiving their benefits early, 62, 63, then they'll do that widow's limb calculation. And then there's another thing called the Windex PIA, which if they passed away before the age of 62, they will recalculate the indexed earnings. So yeah, it's all. But the computer system almost always does that correctly. Once the claim specialist puts it in the system, the only time it doesn't is when they have to do a manual calculation, which doesn't happen very often nowadays. It's called A101, EF 101. Yeah, so inside the beltway, inside baseball right there. The Social Security extra money for government workers, did they pay into? Did they work in public sector like we did and had to pay for 10 quarters so we can get paid Social Security? Yes. So they paid into Social Security, got their 10 years, but then maybe they switched to a government job, and then for maybe majority of their life they didn't pay into Social Security, but they're getting benefits based on what they actually paid into Social Security. And what they're going to get now is a benefit that was entitled for low income wage earners. They're not going to get the correct percentage. They're going to get more than everybody else in an equal position. So I'm retired. I'm 75, and I get widow benefits. My deceased spouse belongs to electrical union. Do I get anything? No, unfortunately. Yeah, unions. These are government type workers. The truly disabled are suffering, yet these drug addicts are smoking on government. Oh, okay, well, 150 million retiring baby boomers should be able to file a lawsuit against politicians squandering our money away. Yeah, actually 76 million. There's a 70 million. What between 1946 and 1964 about, yeah. But yeah, there's a lot of people that if we reach out, we have to overcome those 2% or the 3%, but we have to bring the information to light to have someone actually, talk about it, and give the true information, because all the media is out there is just parodying the corporate line. Yeah, it's pretty bad. Rocky, I just turned 60. I was married to someone for 10 years. I did remarry for a short time, but I have been single for many years. Can I receive ex-spouse benefits from the 10 plus marriage? He is 67. Yes, absolutely. Because you're now no longer married. So you can collect benefits on a first ex-spouse or second ex-spouse as long as you were married to that person, or either both people for 10 years or longer. Yep. Because you're now single. Absolutely. But it sounds as though he is still alive and kicking. So no. because you're only 60. Once you hit 62, then yes, then you can go ahead and start receiving those benefits. Dr. Ed is right. Oh, wow, good. Both sides has known for decades the trust fund will be running out. Even Social Security website acknowledges it. Yes, Social Security trustees, they've been, and I think that's one of the problem. I did a video a little while ago that says, hey, it's the reason we haven't fixed this is because of the actuary, the Social Security actuary. I did it kind of a tongue in cheek type thing where it's like, the reason people want to do anything is because they've heard the sky is falling for decades, and I blame you, Social Security actuary, but I don't blame you because part of that person's job is to project 75 years in the future. Could you imagine if companies projected 75 years in the future? You'd hear all kinds of crazy stuff. But they have to do 75 years in the future. And in 75 years in the future, it's, you know, the life expectancy for all of us. Anyway, so yes, they've known about this for decades. That's why I don't blame Trump. I don't blame Biden. I don't blame Clinton or Obama. I blame all of them and all the politicians, Mike Johnson and McConnell and you know Jeffries and Pelosi. And it's either they don't want to fix Social Security or they're too incompetent or a little bit of both. So there's my 2 cents. Been drawing widow's benefits for last 6 years. I'm now 66. How will this affect me? No, you can continue to collect survivor benefits. Again, if you're, worked at a non-covered entity, one of those government employees, it's a whole different issue. But if you're collecting widow's benefits, remember, because you're receiving widow's benefits, surviving benefits, same exact thing. Make sure your benefits on your own record. See, a lot of people miss this is that they collect survivor benefits and don't touch their benefits on their own record, the retirement benefits, which is good, awesome. And those benefits continue to increase. And after full retirement age, those benefits increase by 8% every year. So your benefits continue to increase every year, every year up until you're 70. So at some point before then, if your benefits on your own record are higher, you should switch from widow's benefits, surviving spouse benefits to benefits on your own record. You should switch over there. And each Social Security office is given a report once a quarter, every month or something. And it says, hey, you've got, this many people in your area that can get more money on their own record versus what they're receiving now from survivor benefits. And so they send out those letters, but people don't get them. They don't open it up. They've got, Social Security's got the wrong address. They didn't update the address. The Social Security employee doesn't do their job or, whatever the case may be. So there's a lot of people out there that are not getting those extra benefits. So please subscribe and all that kind of stuff so we can help as many people as possible get the benefits they're entitled to. All right. We are unfortunately over an hour. So I got to cut it off here. I got tons of questions. I will be back tomorrow with a less angry Ed, and we'll talk about something more pleasant for a while.